coats and granny dresses. But the Grateful Dead and their music, which was sort of a soundtrack for the 60s, keep on trucking right through the 80s. Tonight, 26,000 fans are watching as they begin a national summer concert tour with Bob Dylan. And for the first time in 8 years, they're releasing a new album. Since the 60s, the band has survived the death of one member, the arrest of another, drug addictions, and endless conflicts within the group. But the devotees who have followed them from the early days of free love, free acid, and free concerts seem to have hardly changed with the times.
Good morning, children of the 80s. This is your Woodstock, and it's long overdue.
We began this story 2 years ago in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Live Aid, the concert that more than any other so far defined the decade. On the same day, across the continent, another concert, a different crowd, a different world.
Calling the Grateful Dead hotline number. The Grateful Dead will be playing at the Ventura County Fairgrounds in Ventura, California on July 13th and 14th.
We got Live Aid, cross country, this is Dead Aid.
Dead Aid, right. Dead Aid is better than Live Aid any day.
This is Ventura, California, and it's the same decade, but you'd never know it without a calendar.
Hi, President Nixon. It's an old flag, too. It only has 48 stars.
A lot of people call all of you kind of a lost legion of hippies. How do you feel about that?
That's a great place to be.
They call themselves Deadheads, and wherever the band goes, so go the Deadheads. Across the country, there are more than 100,000 card-carrying Deadheads. 30,000 here this weekend. Blissful to be at the sign of the Skull and Roses with those grizzled veterans of the 60s, and still their heroes, the Grateful Dead. They've never had a top 40 hit. They hadn't done an album in 8 years, and they don't even advertise their concerts. But they sell out almost every time they play. In fact, during this week, they outgrossed Tina Turner, Huey Lewis, and every other single act. $375,000 for the 2 shows here, and all through word of mouth among loyal Deadheads. Deadheads see themselves as part of the show.
There is a common belief system involved here that extends beyond the music, and the music is perhaps the most visible aspect. Those are the musician parts of our show.
Yeah, right.
But our show kind of goes like into the life show, and the life show is, I know there was an old guy on the bus today, and he was kind of like going over the top and crying and stuff, and he turned to me with tears in his eye and a big smile, and he said, you know, we're good people.
What is it about the Grateful Dead that kind of brings you all together, and it's kind of the focus, the center of this universe for you?
Because music fractures time. It recreates time without the tyranny of tense.
If some here seem like they fell into a time warp, they did. These people have lived on a commune for 20 years.
We sort of came out of the same maelstrom that the Grateful Dead also got its beginnings in.
Well, I look at this as not really a concert, but kind of a convention.
Oh, it's like the Gypsies. You know, we get together. It's a tribal stomp.
It's all right.
Tune in, turn on, make love, not war. That's what they're still celebrating.
Every silver lining got a touch of gray. I will get by.
While the band grows older, most of the fans are getting younger.
Kind of like a second generation Deadheads.
How do those young teenagers get into this?
It's important at certain age groups in your life to be able to have more of a free form. I think the concept of free form, both in the music and in the general philosophy of the Grateful Dead, is what's attractive.
We all just cut loose of the rules, cut loose of our hang-ups, and went to where our intuition told us to go, which was the shows, and then it was the shows again, and it was back together again and back with each other again.
Doing that all the time is a lot of fun, but the pay's not too good. How do you support the habit, the Grateful Dead habit?
Well, for one thing, we don't pay rent. We live in a school bus. You know, for another thing, we're both artists, craftspeople. You know, sometimes he works, sometimes I work.
We make T-shirts, we silkscreen shirts and sell those at the shows here.
We're the egg roll people. We live on egg rolls. We sell egg rolls for a living. Everywhere we go, people eat egg rolls.
See people from all over that we know all over. Waiting for my boyfriend somewhere, but he's supposed to come with them, but they lost him in Barstow somewhere. I hope he gets out here.
There's people here traveled thousands of miles to get here and had no fear that they'd get in. Came without tickets. Come right here and it's all about this. See you at the next show. When this one's over, we're not going anywhere but to the next show.
And how long are you going to keep doing this?
I'm 32 now. I've been doing it since I was 16. Like the band does another 20 years, I'll do another 20 years with them, you know.
Is all of this what was going on during the 60s but kind of disappeared from most of our lives?
I think it's better.
How's it
I think it's
better?
crisper because people learned from the 60s to not be so naive and innocent. There's a lot of hard edges to accommodate in the world, and you just can't be a love child floating through life.
For the Grateful Dead, dealing with the hard edge of reality has never been a very high priority, and that's a big part of their appeal.
What more do you want than good drugs and good folks, huh? Our audiences come to have fun and enjoy the music and commune, you know.
That's because they're all stoned, though, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. Stoned is a relative term. I mean, you know, I'm high on life, as they say, you know.
What is that magic that they had to get this kind of loyalty and to influence their fans so strongly? What is it besides the music that they have?
The Grateful Dead and LSD are an incredible thing, and that's where it started from, you know.
This has got to be the only concert crowd left where there's still LSD, isn't that right?
Actually, we're finding a resurgence of LSD, but the difference is the people at a Grateful Dead show have been doing it so long they learned how to take their drugs.
In fact, for more than 20 years, since the 60s in San Francisco, when the Grateful Dead and LSD grew popular together. Their philosophy then was simple: drugs make the world a better place.
I think, personally, that the more people turn on, the better world it's going to be.
People that live in the community and, you know, play around with dope and stuff like that, they don't have worries, you know.
We feel more like children than ever.
Right. Because we know what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow up.
We're just the slowest growing rock and roll band in the world.
They haven't really had to grow up in spite of their problems. In '73, a band member died mysteriously, and there have been numerous arrests for drugs. But a show of public indifference and a reluctance to be interviewed are all part of their act.
Do drugs still have a large role to play in the appreciation of your
What'd you say?
Well, we have to go now.
To the Deadheads, it's not just band leader Jerry Garcia's music that's the attraction here. It's his, well, basic philosophy of life.
Hey, what the is that?
All right. Any other things that we ought to know? Music is freedom in and from time.
To you if the Grateful Dead stopped?
We'd go on, you know.
We'd probably have to break down and get jobs, you know.
I won't do that. I won't do that.
Okay.
I'm an artist.
Feeling satisfied by their very existence. Today, music correspondent Rona Elliott says now those fans have something to cheer about. Good morning, Rona.
Good morning, Brian. This week, the Grateful Dead released their first studio album in 7 years, In the Dark, over which their so-called Deadhead fans are delirious. They've also made their first music video for their first single, Touch of Grey, which comes out on Thursday. We talked with Jerry Garcia and Mickey Hart about finally catching up with...
Yes, we made a video, right.
You're shocking in a way.
Well, But the video now has gotten to be a regular accompaniment to, you know, it's industry stuff. But we've been kind of, you know, about 20 or 30 miles to the left of the industry for the last 7 or 8 or 20 years, you know.
The beginning of this new Grateful Dead tour, it will have been 20 years since the Monterey Pop Festival, which was considered a stellar event in pop music history.
We played badly there.
Tell me what you remember.
We played really badly there. Well, that was one of our classic bad scenes. We came on the stage just after The Who finished smashing their equipment for the first time in America, you know what I mean? This was, the audience is devastated, you know. The Who were beautifully theatrical and stuff, and there's clouds of smoke and explosions, and they're clearing away the debris, you know. So we come out and play our little set, you know, ding, 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 and then Jimi Hendrix comes on after us and annihilates any remnant of any, you know, I mean, if anybody noticed this, that was it, you know, it was erased from existence. And I was like, come on, you know, that was where we were on the show. It didn't pan out for us.
When you guys are out there on stage performing however many hundreds of nights a year you perform and you are playing, what keeps it fresh after 20 years? You're used to looking at each other in the eye, you know your cues, you know your signals.
Well, I don't think any one of us wholesale short-term memory loss. Yeah, I don't think any one of us are stable enough to. None of us remember what we used to do. We're not very stable, you know, and so we don't relate the same way each night. We don't observe show business formulas. And we play mostly, or an awful lot of what we do, possibly 80% of what we do is improvised. We make it up as we go along.
We take all of our various bluegrass and country and my space and jazz and percussion stuff and whatever we all have to offer, fill orchestrations, bring it to the Grateful Dead and make it fly.
Yeah, it works because of the difference in everybody's perspective of what the music is supposed to be like. Since we all see it differently, you know, it's one of those things. But we all know it when it happens. Yeah. It's like a thing you recognize. That's what we've come to over the years.
It doesn't take direction from any one person. It sort of directs itself when it works right. It's sort of one of those good kind of things that develops as you go along.
There really isn't a good demographic description of who the Deadhead is. They come in all shapes and sizes and ages and occupations and endeavors and backgrounds and everything. Deadhead is that person, wherever they turn up in society, that's looking for an adventure in America, you know, something to do that's not like what everybody else does, and a chance to get out and scare themselves a little. We will get by. We will get by. We will survive.
Do you sit around and scratch your head and go, oh my God, this thing is still happening and there's more fans than there were last year? And you played to, you know, 800,000 people and it just becomes more and more
We were amazed the first time there was more of them than us. You know what I mean? They used to walk out in droves.
But after a while, you saw what the music did to the people, and then once you saw that, I knew at least that if we stayed around long enough, that a lot of people will listen to it because I knew it was
we'd get good at it.
Yeah, we would get good at it too.
Eventually, it only took 22 years.
Yeah, it's a long.
Now we're starting to get a handle on it.
We will survive.
The Grateful Dead kicked off their summer concerts over the weekend with Bob Dylan, the first in a series. Next summer, the Dead will play at the Great Wall of China. You see, if you wait long enough, all things come to pass. Brian?
A lot of us old-timers sat around watching that and failed to come to grips with it. I mean, how do you explain this emotional attachment that they seem to have with how many people?
Over half a million.